So AppXite is here to present the offer from IBM. AppXite is a company that is working foremost in Europe, but do have partners globally. We work with a very close relationship with IBM to help them to also scale their deliveries, their IBM Cloud deliveries on a global scale in their channel marketplace. We're even working with the technical team directly into IBM, which means that we can also, together with IBM, bring that value out to you as universities or research institutes. So we have a extremely close relationship all the way down to the technical details. So that's really good. But I want to spend the time here today to actually give you a little bit insight on why you should actually choose to work with IBM. AppXite is going to help IBM. AppXite is also going to make sure that you get the right consultancies and the expertise that you need to actually utilize the full potential of IBM. But why should institutes and universities and education actually work with IBM? Because IBM actually is working with education and research institutes. That's one of the biggest ones in the world. Everything now is changing from being like everybody has been talking about the digital age and things like that, which is now going into a more cognitive era, which means that everything is being more available and everything is being more measured, and the data needs to actually do some good and bring some value. And that's what IBM really is good on helping with. So within IBM Cloud, it's not only IBM deliveries, but within the IBM Cloud, you can actually get any cloud, you could almost say, because IBM is very open on their infrastructure, and they are very open to what they call the multi-cloud. So IBM is built now on 5 key principles, or their approach is the 5 key principles, which is hybrid, meaning that anything should work with anything. Either if you have something localized on-premise in your own data center, it needs to be able to be connected to any cloud for maybe utilizing AI or doing some data research or anything like that, where you really need to bring in some key elements for a short period of time, instead of having to crunch that data locally, which might take several weeks. You can utilize the power of IBM and to do it in hours instead. And that's really what IBM is trying to go into and help out with, not to bring you IBM Cloud as an agreement, but actually look at what it is that they can help you with and what we can help you with together with IBM to actually make your job easier on a daily basis. So of course, on the educational part and the university part, IBM is working very close and wants to have a close relationship with you on the ground. So what we want to do, of course, after this presentation also is to get in contact with you again to actually sit down and see how we can cooperate, not how we can sell to you, but how we can cooperate and implement services to you that can help you on your daily work. And if we look at the research part from IBM, I think if you are really interested, you have all seen the quantum computing from IBM. The middle picture here is one of their spaced out quantum computing services, which will be available to utilize for you and your universities and institutes by having a cooperation between us and IBM. What's really interesting also about IBM is their IBM Research, where IBM actually has 3,000 researchers in 12 different labs located across 6 different continents, which means that they are there to help you also in your daily work and your research that you are doing. And some of these cases that IBM already have teamed up and worked, you can see here, like the MIT, IBM Watson AI Lab. And I hope that I can share this presentation with you later, so you can go in and actually read up on those links here, because it's really interesting to see these real use cases on how like IBM Watson AI can help you, and how you can actually build more functionality and get more value out of your research or your universities that really wants to utilize these massive features that IBM actually has. So, and of course, they are working on the climate sustainability and a lot of other things. And they already today have partnered up with 28 business schools and universities across the globe. And they would love to do even more on that part. So they are open to have that dialogue directly with you to see if we can partner up on doing something that actually brings value not only to you as universities, but out to the people within Norway or in Europe. Because that's really what this is about, reaching out and finding these real cases on how to do research or how to utilize the cloud functionality and services, maybe just for a short period of time to crunch on numbers, but maybe utilize it to do real good in Europe and come with concrete cases. And to go over to that then and to look into it, I actually have some concrete cases here where IBM is helping universities and research institutes across the globe. So maybe you have heard about the Mayflower automated ship that is right now sailing around the world, powered fully by IBM to do automation, meaning that it's sailing around with no direct human control. So it's solar cell powered. And what this ship is doing actually is measuring water temperatures, seeing how much trash there is in our oceans, where that trash might be going or heading, so that we actually can clean it up in a smarter way, but also weather data. So it takes care of all the types of weather data around all our oceans, and then sends that back to whoever wants to do research on that data. So this is one of those very interesting things that IBM is doing. And of course, also a lot of things into healthcare research and taking care or coming up with ideas on how to treat diseases that there might not be any treatment for, but how can we actually see changes within a disease to make sure that we can make it as good as possible for the patients that might have this disease, or can we change something in the environment around them to make it better? So these are really, really interesting cases, which you can read more about afterwards. Also, I wanted to show you the MIT IBM Watson AI Lab, which is being utilized by MIT today, where they are utilizing something that they call MCSC, which is MIT Climate and Sustainability Consortium, where they together and the mission is to, on a large scale, do real world impact on how we can address the climate change globally. So all of these things, IBM is a key player in, and IBM really wants to have even more cases like this. And as you understand, they are investing a lot of money in this, and they have already 3,000 researchers, not maybe standing by, but they are there to help you to succeed with your local cases also. So the real thing here from our side is the cooperation that brings value. So we, from AppXite, we want to make sure that we can find the right individuals, either within IBM or some of our partners that are localized in Norway or maybe other parts of Europe, to really make sure that we take the best services from IBM and we work together with you to bring that value towards your deliveries. So we already have strategies and a very close relationship with IBM. So we just want you to start to reach out to us so that we can grab IBM in the arm, come out to you, talk to you and see what it is that you want and need help with, how IBM Watson can help you, how AI can help you, or how you might want to play around with some quantum computing. So there's a variety of really, really cool solutions from IBM. They are extremely big in the research, universities, and education market. So I really hope that we can start to engage and bring some real value to you. To start connecting with us and to stay informed, we have created a landing page called appxite.com/okre. Right now, there's a form there where you can just put in your details and say, hey, we want to get in contact. Then we will start to address and have a contact session with you. We will also start to gather more material and publish it on that webpage. So please continue to go into it. We will publish more and more things as we go along with Okre. And hopefully we will publish some real user cases that we will do within the Okre community. And if you want to reach out and book a meeting directly, then please reach out to okre@appxite.com. And what's really important to know here is that we are doing this delivery hand in hand with IBM. So every time that you reach out to us, we will not just call up you and be AppXite. We will go hand in hand with the experts from IBM. You will be working directly with IBM, and we will show you the real IBM cases, and we will make sure that you can be one of these MIT cases or something like that, if you want to. In my presentation, I also have a little bit more about all these different deliveries that we have that you saw a little bit about quantum. I will try to send this full presentation over to you later. A little bit about the Mayflower automation chip, what's on AI lab. I think this can be really interesting for all of you to see what MIT has done together with IBM, and how IBM is actually working with IBM Watson to help and maybe hopefully treat some diseases. There are some other use cases also, like space tech. So with that, I want